It is a beautiful day.
It is. It's perfect. Welcome to KYD.
Scoot over.
Okay, thank you. Is that better?
Yes. Welcome to KYD and welcome to your Airstream tour. Today, we're going to tour the Flying Cloud 30-foot bunkhouse version. This is a 2017 and we cannot wait for you to come on over.
Yes, and it's not just a tour. We're also going to provide a review, a brutally honest review. In fact, we even waited until the honeymoon was over.
It's over.
So that we could really share some of the deficiencies that we've experienced living in the RV this season.
Yes,
right?
What works, what doesn't, what's great, what's hype.
Yes, so we're gonna talk about the pros and cons. We're gonna cover the 6 lithium batteries that we put in the front and how we got those in there. What about the storage? Everyone says, all right, come on, they don't have any storage, so where do you put everything? So I think this tour should start inside in the kitchen with Tricia's magic, because that's always the best part. Right?
I love that idea.
And one last thing, we're not gonna make this video go as fast as they have in the past because the feedback is always the same. I want more, like get into the details. So we're pulling up the dinette cushions, we're showing you inside and not leaving anything out.
You wanna see the nooks and crannies?
Yes.
Let's do this.
Let's get started. Man, are you going out for like the roll? Do you rollerblade?
Oh yeah, man. Do we miss a door? Yes, but we're gonna share with you the things that we like and some of the things we don't like about this RV in today's video.
I didn't mind it, but it was kind of miserable. Just a little bit of both.
Really? Really? How is it possible? Okay, there is a train coming.
I was just gonna say, there's another train.
So we need to get inside. We're gonna start with the inside of the Airstream.
Yes, let's do this.
Let's go to the kitchen.
Okay, welcome to the Airstream kitchen. This is the coolest thing because in these little cabinets right here holds an entirely efficient kitchen. But when you are figuring out how to store everything, there's a couple things to keep in mind. First, containment. How do I contain all the different little aspects? And then second is the recycle, reuse, repurpose thought process. So you always want to shop at home first. What do you have at home? And then shop at the lowest, price point. Maybe you go to a secondhand store or you go to the dollar store. When we got the Airstream though, I really needed different kinds of baskets. So I had to go for soft, flexible things. So that took me right to Target, which brought the price up a little bit. But I want to show you some cool ways that I repurpose things, I recycle other stuff from other rigs, and we reuse a bunch of things. So here are my 3 cabinets. And let me turn on some extra light. Here we have all of our dishes and some more dishes. And then we've got a coffee station and a vitamin station. For other people, maybe this is where you would keep your boxes, things like that. Like if you get cereals or things, like any mixes, things like that. I love these soft shelled little containers. They're amazing. And then these are soft, but then they have a wire on the top. So they keep their form, but I was able to squeeze them into the limited amount of space that I have. And then of course, getting things like these little pop-up, this is a salad spinner, but the best thing is you could take out the salad drainer part and you could use this as a bowl. So again, when you're thinking about your RV, think about things that have dual purpose. And I love these kinds of pop-up containers. I used to have one for my kitchen sink, but this is a round sink, so I didn't get to reuse it from my last rig. These little guys are from IKEA, so they were super affordable, and they hold all of our coffee mugs and regular cups. But then, when I say repurpose, think of things like a pen holder. There's all kinds of pen caddies that you can get. You can also get silverware caddies, but a pen caddy has a smaller footprint, and I'm able to put tons of silverware and chopsticks in this tiny little container. And then because this container right here is soft on the edges, I was able to put the pen container in here and it's still kind of like overlapped. So all three of these things fit in the same footprint, even though they wouldn't have if this one wasn't soft. Okay, other things to think about are the things that you use all the time and you can't live without. For me, that's paper towels. I need them close by. I need it easy to come on and off. In every one of our rigs, we've put this up with command hooks with Velcro. In this one, we were able, because the Airstream is real wood, we were able to actually drill it in, but whatever works for your RV. And then think of things like, how do I get these knives out of the drawers and into the workspace so that I have access to them all the time? They're actually a display instead of causing, you know, a traffic jam in my drawers. But these little metal strips are amazing. Think about how you can use these in your bathroom. I loved it when I had a medicine cabinet to put one of these in the back of my medicine cabinet. I put my bobby pins, I put anything metal, tweezers, eyelash curler. They are awesome. And as you can tell, nothing moves even when you're on the road. So the pantry is actually pretty big. So it goes as deep as this wall. So we have the pantry, we have 4 drawers here, and I have these drawers, and I have this and these 2 down here. I would keep them open, but obviously the slant wants me to close them. This one I use as an all-purpose drawer. You're going to need a place to throw your just a few things. I've got lighters, pens, tape. These are things that you end up needing for one reason or another. Tide sticks. These things are phenomenal. You can get rid of a stain in a flash. I have cutting boards. When you buy cutting boards, think about ones with like a little rubber on them because they don't move, and that's really nice when you're trying to dice. I have a cutting board that is not only a cutting board, but kind of a display, so I can make a meat and cheese board and serve it. And then one of the other things I like is these cutting boards I can serve a dinner on, and we can put it on our lap and just eat outside, and it's like a little table. So different ways to use this is just multi-purpose. So think about how your items can be multi-purpose. And down here, I just want to just open this so you can see all the storage. This is where I have like salt and sugars and anything like gluten-free right here. And then over here I have some serving containers, some more honey. These are things that I don't reach for every single day, but I also need good access to them. Okay, so inside here, this has been a total surprise. I was wondering where on earth were my pans going to go. They're all right here. I have 2 restaurant grade heavy duty pans. These are kind of like cast iron, but in my opinion, a little bit better. They're like called blue steel. And then I have a nonstick omelet and a bigger nonstick just for some of those things that you can't have, you know, that other kind of surface to cook on. And then we have, I am like a Tetris master, okay? I will give myself that accolade because this is like our oatmeal dish. I have my salt. Everything is like put in here perfectly so I can fit in as many things as possible, yet I'm still able to quickly reach for things like salt and pepper. And then my pans, everything goes right here, easy peasy to put away and reach for. One other thing I want to show you before I close this drawer are these lids, these little silicone lids. They're amazing. They fit on every single size, and I use them so that I don't splatter all over the place, and so I don't have to have lids for every single pan. Smart. Then we're back to nesting. You know I love that word. So look at all these little tiny, I make a lot of sauces that go with our dishes, so I like to put them in these little things. And then all of these kind of nest in together. And then I'm always using my big one for all my vegetables whenever we're in one spot over there. So I was super impressed with this pantry. It goes all the way back. Again, you have to think of that arch when you're using anything, any kind of container in an Airstream. And so always look for these kinds of things. You'd think that this is the front, but in an Airstream you can use it as the back, so you can really get your containers further back.
Where'd you get those?
I got these at the Container Store. Oh. And then they stack on top of each other. They have little things to stack, but I didn't need that piece. So I use that for up there because there's that arch. But then I have like my rices and my grains. I have my fruits and my nuts. And down here, I have all my oils and vinegars. I love cooking, so I need a lot of things. But I also have baggies, and I'll show you how I have that all stored. And then again, the containment. How can I keep these flat things together? How can I keep sharper objects? Think about that. When you have something like this in your drawer and you go reach in and you just grind up your knuckles, you could use a cover, but I lost that a long time ago. So anyway, a thing like a mandolin, how do you protect yourself from yourself? you use your containers to keep them in certain spots, so you know I'm safe to grab in here quickly. And then I have all my spices. Like, how cool is this that the spices all fit? Like, this actually closes. That's amazing. Okay, so we have that. And then how can you find containers that will divide up your drawers for you? And like on the side, I have shish kebab holders. So these things that would otherwise be totally cumbersome actually have a safe and cool spot on the side of containers. And then I have my messy drawer. These are things I don't know what to do with. Okay, I have one more secret drawer to show you. And these are the kinds of things that we love about Airstream. The fact that I don't have to pull these covers off in order to get to this. And I have all this space. So I have these containers. I'm creating spices. So I have lots of spices everywhere. But here I keep all of our alcohol. And then in here, I have all of our cans. And these are very heavy. So it's nice that they're down low and they're not falling out of a pantry when you open it.
What do you have over here though? There's more stuff.
Those are special salts. Finishing salts and things like that.
Okay, it's my turn to show you what's in these cabinets. And this cabinet is the gratitude cabinet because Tricia gave me this cabinet. Maybe because I was spilling over, but this was just not enough stuff for all the camera gear and drones and batteries and things like this. I'm gonna have to make it quick, a train is coming. We're about to lose our audio. Okay, hold on, stand by. Train! Okay, so Trish gave me not only this cabinet, but she also gave me these soft things. So I just keep like extra lenses and microphones and these like USB ports and external hard drives and GoPros and all that stuff up in here. And then this one is a more regular camera because the camera that Trish is holding goes right here. We've got some Midland radios just in case we're in an area that doesn't have cell phone coverage. We still have radio. I've got a remote device so that we can check the temperature of the rig when we're away. I've got the Canon chargers and then this cabinet. This is one of the things that I really like about Airstream when we first got involved is like when we first got the Airstream is I would say like, oh, I need a place to charge the data stuff. And I'd open this up and I'd be like, oh, there's the USB. And then I'd walk in and I'd be like, oh, I need a place to charge to go to bed. And then sure enough, there's one right next to my bed. And then we'd walk in and be like, it would be really nice if I put my shoes and there's a place for your shoes. So like Trish was saying, it's very well thought out. So although you don't get a lot of the grandeur space, it's very deliberate and detailed and you end up having kind of a place for everything. And when everything gets put away, it stays really organized. And that's one of the things we've liked. So this is a HDMI splitter. So that I think there's like 3 TVs in this rig. So we've got Apple TV here, HDMI splitter. This is our AT&T router, and this is our Verizon router. Both truly unlimited plans. And then the DVD that we never use, and the radio we never use, and my wallet. Should we look under the dinette?
Yes.
Okay, we want to show you, Charlie's getting restless. We want to show you what is underneath these dinette, and we actually want to show you, like, put this table down and show you how the bed lies flat. Because when we were interested in the 30-foot bunkhouse, we were looking for videos of like people actually doing it, and all we could find on the internet were like brand new rigs. We're like, I see a brand new rig at the dealership. I want to see how people live in it. I want to see how difficult it is to take these cushions off. So we'll do that in a minute. But this is a good opportunity to talk about a couple deficiencies that we have found in the Airstream. One is I spend a lot of time right here, and if I'm not right here, I'm sitting right here a long time. And the Airstream just isn't that comfortable. It's high quality memory foam, which I really like. So like in our previous rigs, when you'd sit in a chair for like more than an hour, you felt like you were sitting on the wood. This memory foam is fantastic, but it's upright. We're upright here, or come follow me, Trish, or we're like upright here. And so it's fine if you're out for the weekend, and it's fine for probably what RVing was intended to be used for. But for this extended travel that we're doing, or even full-time living, it's just not like you want to relax and lie down. And I know you're probably thinking, well, why don't you put a pillow here and lie down? It's because the reality is when you're really traveling, all of this is covered with stuff, right? You got groceries or you got a basket up, and it's really never this clean. Shocking. Charlie, come in here. Come here. So anyhow, that's one of the deficiencies. The other deficiency that we have found, hold on, I'm gonna grab this, is we really did like our fire. Okay, hold on. So we really did like in our previous RVs the fireplace. Now it's not really a fireplace. It's really just a really pretty space heater. But when you turn on the furnace, now the nice Airstreams, like the 33-foot Classic, that has like heated floors, so it doesn't have the forced air. But most travel trailers have forced air, like a furnace. So we turn that on, and like 5 minutes later or less, we're like totally sweltering hot, and it's dry, and it's not good. And if you don't have it on, we're absolutely freezing. So this was $15 at Home Depot. We plug this thing in, and it actually just kind of keeps the RV warm enough where we don't have to turn on the furnace. And if we're in an RV park and we're connected to electric, we can plug it in and we can save on propane. So this is kind of like the solution that we have found to just kind of take the edge off of those cold mornings. And like I said, we did like the fireplace. So
well, and the crazy part about the heater in this rig is Charlie's scared of it because it blows out of the ground.
It comes out of the ground, and then Charlie doesn't like it, and he gets hot, and then he hops up on our bed. Anyway, so let's show you underneath this dinette. All right, so these unclip like this, and then I believe we can push it down, right? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, but we're gonna want to get the cushions out of the way first.
Wait, why isn't it pushing down? Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. So we'll get these cushions out.
Going up, it goes back up.
There we go.
It has to...
And then I just tighten it like that. There.
Oh, great. Yeah, this is super cool. 2 little people could sleep here. 1 bigger person can sleep here. Carson slept here before. And Victoria could come. You could have visitors. You could watch a movie.
I mean, we never do it, but it's nice to know you can.
We've done it.
We have done it to watch movie night.
Yeah, to watch movie night. And Carson slept here before.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, that's that.
So what makes an RV feel small? Because we don't have slides, and a lot of people are like, how is it without the slides? We actually really like not having slides. And when it's the 4 of us, it is kind of a problem because we're like going around each other and things like this. But the 3 of us, it's not really that much of a problem. And the 2 of us, it would be no problem whatsoever. What makes an RV feel small, in our opinion, from having now 5 RVs, is when a space doubles as something else. If you have a place that you like to work, but someone else sleeps there when they're with you, that's when the RV starts feeling really small. It's like you want to get to work, but you need to wait for your son, daughter, grandchild, or a visitor to like wake up and get ready and turn it back into an office from a bed. And so we have found that if you have an RV that has very deliberate spaces, that work is here, sleep is there, eating is here, that's where you're going to feel like an RV has a lot of space. The actual length and size and height of an RV isn't necessarily going to be the factor of how big it feels. Like we were on a 44-foot toy hauler, and after 7 months of traveling around in that, even that starts actually feeling a little bit small. The question is, how many individual spaces do you have and can you use, and how many of those spaces service 2 purposes? That's kind of what the conclusion that we've come up with.
I still miss my 2 bathrooms.
The 2 bathrooms were nice. So
You want to see under here?
I do.
Let's do it. I don't know how clean it is.
We didn't look here. Wait, are you saying that we prepared and we actually cleaned the RV?
We prepared. Let me tell you something. Do you ever have people come over for dinner?
We have Edmonds. I get
it. you have like,
company's coming, baby.
Yeah, you have special getting ready for people to come over kind of stuff. That's what happened.
Oh.
Hey, not bad.
That's just our shoes.
Yeah, those
and
are
now
shoes.
Normally this is like what we call our prohibition locker.
We usually keep lots of wine bottles right there.
Yes.
But we don't have any wine bottles.
And
Okay. Just stop this right now. This is one of my favorite finds this season. Okay, I keep extra cooking supplies there. You could probably, I don't know what you'd keep, but there is great storage and easy access. If you have a local like restaurant supply shop, these are called quarter pans. Okay, so you know, a half pan is what you normally have inside a normal size oven. This is called a quarter pan, but they have these little plastic covers and they are so cool because
put food out on the picnic table, you don't have to worry about flies.
Yeah, you can put food out on the picnic table. I use it to marinate a steak, and then I put this on and I put it right in the fridge. It totally fits in a tiny RV fridge, and then I'm not wasting like a plastic baggie or something like that. And then my other thing is I flip this over and I use it as my dish like catch-all. So I wash the dishes and I put it in here, and this catches all the water. I know that kind of sounds silly, but I don't want, in such a tiny kitchen, I didn't have another space for a dish drying rack. And so this ends up being my dish drying rack. It ends up, I put tons of stuff on this. I use these as serving platters, marinating, picnics. You can put like, I have a little cutting board and I put the cutting board in there, and then when I'm cutting things that are really juicy, this collects all the juices. I know it's totally random, but this has been my favorite addition to our rig this season.
Okay, so now I realize why we don't go under here, because you don't have to, because you have these drawers. You see, we are lifting these up, but all it is access to right here. So we don't have to take off these cushions, which is really nice. In fact, if you have a travel trailer that has this setup, you can actually cut it out yourself, bring back in the upholstery, and make a little drawer, and then you don't have to worry about taking all these things off all yourself.
I think while I'm just standing right here, I'm just going to show you the inside of the fridge, because people get a little nervous about how much these little fridges can fit. And I just want to show you, this is not very stocked right now because I need to go grocery shopping, but 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves, and then 2 of those, and then one of our shelves broke. But we have all of these. So I feel like this is a completely sufficient refrigerator for up to 5 days of groceries feeding 4 people, if that made sense.
Well, feeding 4 of our people is because 2 of those people are normally like are 15 and 16 years old. Right.
So we're eating like 2 breakfasts, a lunch, and 2 dinners.
Yeah.
So because
if you're a couple, this fridge is beyond
enough. So, but
of course we eat a lot of fresh food, and there's always fruit around. So a lot of our stuff doesn't need to be refrigerated.
I think that you can make the decision yourself how good or lacking this is, and I don't feel like it's lacking. I feel like I have enough space. The only thing that is challenging sometimes, because I don't do a lot of frozen foods, but if I want to get frozen meats, and then all of a sudden I have to get ice, because we do go through a lot of ice. It's a total luxury for us, but wherever we go get a bag of ice, and that usually dominates the top shelf, and then I have very limited space for extra meats. Because now that, you just never know what place is going to let you take more than 2 chickens, or you know what I mean, or am I going to get the right kind that I'm used to?
Gotcha.
And when I find what I like, I want to get like 3 or 4. So anyway, the freezer is the only thing that I find lacking.
Where'd you get that wreath, Trish? That's really nice.
Isn't that adorable? Hello, fall.
Upcoming episodes, Stowe, Vermont. Stay tuned.
Yes.
Okay. Bunk. Hey, Caleb, let's do the bunk. Caleb, this is already proving to be the longest tour we've ever done. Let's see if we can do it in a minute or less.
Okay.
All right, we'll try.
All right, so here's what we got here. The backpack, of course, the Xbox with remote chargers, and I got 4 Xbox remotes, and then
in case you have 3 friends come over.
In case I have 3, Charlie, Mom, and Dad.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's really it.
Well, you overachieved.
I overachieved.
Okay, here's the question.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Hold on. Ethernet in my bed.
Ethernet.
So let's say you find some Wi-Fi, boom, plug that right in there.
Okay, couple things.
Yeah.
Couple things. This is a stock OEM original equipment manufacturer mattress. How is it?
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Is it like almost the size of a queen?
Yeah.
While Carson was with us before he went off to school, you slept up there. How was that up there?
I didn't mind it, but it was kind of miserable. Just a little bit of both. It just really
You're too
depended.
big now, actually. You've grown since we even started.
No, it fits. I went up here today.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad, but I like having an Xbox now. Okay. I do. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
You should also know that under a whole side of that full-size bed is storage all the way to the back. So I have all of Carson's old things that he didn't want to bring to school.
Okay, so that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You can tell how much I come under here. Okay, so basically 2 of these.
Once you close that, look on the side. There's a whole backpack on the side.
Oh, I was looking for that. That's the small Tortuga?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So anyway, there's tons of storage. Command hooks. You knew I was gonna say it, okay? But a command hook with rubber so that things don't fall off.
Turn the light on up there.
I can barely reach. That, and then also smaller bags that you can use for laundry bags. This is how we've figured out how to do our laundry for Caleb. And then, again, you have to use your space. You have to either use the depth, the height, whatever you have, use it to the most. And so we found a little wire basket that has it up, because this cost me $20, and redoing this whole closet would cost hundreds of dollars. So although I would love to redo this entire closet, and maybe we will, this is an immediate solution that you can do on your own. So we've got one drawer here with all kinds of stuff. This one, look how big this is.
Why is Caleb not even using it? I seriously need to reclaim. Caleb,
Gigantic.
I need some of these.
And then this one. Uh-oh.
Storage?
Something's back there. Yeah. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
So 4 big drawers and a closet that is this deep. I can't even touch the back.
Okay, talk to me about these mirrors. This one's a little wobbly, but
this one's like a circus mirror.
But show the one in the bathroom.
This is the good one.
That is the good mirror.
Yes, this is a good one. A nice circle. You can always find these things. keepyourdaydream.com/Amazon.
That's right.
Okay, but this is one of the most aggravating deficiencies of this rig, okay? If the mattress is at all extended or if someone's foot is there, this is as wide as it goes. So you go to open it and you like slam your face in the door.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many times I've opened it expecting it to open for my body and it stops and I just hit myself. I'm like, I just want to just scream. So anyway, but this is the bathroom.
Let me engage wide angle mode.
Yes, it's not exactly gigantic.
No.
I can touch the ceiling. I'm only 5'2". So in my wingspan, this is the entire thing, okay?
Okay, now let me say though.
Yes?
Some people say that Airstreams are only efficient or only, what would be the right word?
Oh, good for 6 feet.
Yes,
Or under.
Under 6 feet.
Under 6 feet.
I will say
Yes.
that there is a seat in that bathroom.
I have a real problem sitting down in a shower.
Yeah, I know. But I'm
really
just saying that's
out.
what it's designed
But that's
for.
what it's designed to do. You're supposed
And
to sit
if you're tall,
and then take this off
if you're
and
tall,
shower.
it's pretty nice.
So speaking of the shower, there's 2 things that I absolutely love about this shower. Number 1, we've been using it forever, like I think in the past 3 rigs. There is a command hook container over here that is very strong, but you got to read the directions. The first few times I didn't read the directions and it fell off. So you got to give it time to stick to the surface. And the other thing we ordered directly from Airstream, and it is a
Airstream Supply Company.
Oh, Airstream Supply Company, but it is a teak floor mat for the inside of the shower. So you get to take a shower with it. And because this doesn't like close all the time, you only close this when you're taking a shower, at least when you look into the bathroom, it feels nicer.
Well, and when you're taking a shower, you're not like standing on all like grime and stuff. Because sometimes, you know, you're camping.
Could get gross. Yeah. So I love that. I love that container. I put another one over here. And of course I have command hooks up here so our towels stay out of the way. I try to raise them as high as possible so the bulk is out of the way. And then the always these rubber things are always fantastic
I love
for
those things.
a moving rig. There's also a toothbrush holder in here that's pretty snazzy, but you got to wipe it out pretty often so that your toothbrushes don't get bacteria on them.
Okay, another deficiency of the Airstream that we've experienced is the fact that the toilet is a macerating toilet. Not all Airstream toilets are macerating toilets, but this one is because the black tank is not directly below the toilet. And the reason that that's a deficiency is if for some reason you run completely out of battery or you have an electrical issue and that macerator doesn't work, the toilet is your trip is stopped until you get that fixed type of situation. And we've been in that situation before. If you follow KYD week to week, you might remember when we went through Estes Park, you see how the mattress is pushing that door in. Caleb was cleaning the rig, which was really nice of him, and without even thinking, he was wiping this thing down and threw just this down the toilet, and it clogged the macerator, blew the fuse, and it kind of took us a while to figure out how that whole thing works. So I wish it wasn't electric. One of the things that we kind of gravitated toward the Airstream was the simplicity of the stabilizers and not having a slide and not having electric stuff. So the fact that our toilet, which is 100% essential, is dependent upon electricity is kind of a bummer, or 12 volt, I should say. You want to go to the bedroom now?
Yeah. Okay, so my closet is this and this, and then I have some storage under here and a little bit under here. So again, I have the containment, except it's not usually contained. It's usually very messy and shoved up there, but I try to do, shirts, pants, and workout clothes. So there it is. And surprisingly, there's a lot of stuff in there. And then I have the closet. One of the best tips is to use these tiny skinny hangers. Oops, hi. Are these tiny skinny little hangers. They're super annoying because everything stays on them, but that's what you want. You don't want things to be slipping and falling, and they take up a very small little footprint. Airstream has these little knobs on their pole back there, and it's great because it keeps everything in its place, but you can't just like push everything to one side, you know what I mean? So I have tons of stuff in there. I have 2 more containers at the bottom. But the coolest part is this goes all the way back. So under here, I have a full-on waste bucket, and this is what I use for dirty laundry. And inside of it, I just keep one of these little things, and when it gets full, I've close it up like this, I throw it in the back of the truck, and then I have round 2 because I don't go to the laundromat all the time. I try to go like once a week, and this definitely fills up before 1 week.
Did you hear that, guys? Tricia takes her dirty laundry and she impedes the back of my truck.
So we have all of that, and then again, I have lots of command hook situation. We bolted this little dice into the wall, which is fantastic. And then if a command hook isn't enough, you have to go the chip clip route and then use a command hook sticky thing. But a little chip clip with a flat back, and then you can clip your hat, because this hat would not have stayed on a hook.
No.
So anyway, another little quick tip for you. This little box makes it look like nothing's there, and then my books can fit in nicely. These are the kinds of things that we love about Airstream. I feel like someone has been thinking about how to make it better for many, many decades.
Well, even that reading light, we sit down and we turn on our lights and we read.
And we read at night.
And then our phone is charged and our books are right there, and it's nice.
Now, I want to have a personal one-to-one conversation with the person that decided a blue USB light was important right next to my bed. Because unless I take out these and close this up, it's a night light.
And put electrical tape over it, and then shove a pillow in there, and put a blindfold on, you're waking up with blue lights.
Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. I can't go to sleep. So anyway, so that's that. That's what we have going on here. And then I have a charger for my computer. I have a fast charger for my phone. There's just a lot going on right here.
Okay, my side is really the same. Everything Trish showed you. Trish said that this is the neatest she's ever seen this. Trish tends to exaggerate a little bit if you haven't noticed over the past several years.
This is not normal.
And this doesn't even look organized, but anyhow, 1, 2, 3. And then jackets in here. Frankly, it's plenty of space for a weekend warrior. It's plenty of space for someone that's gonna go on a trip in a single season, meaning you go summer, no problem. You want to go fall, no problem. You want to go on a trip that spans spring, summer, and fall, you're gonna have some issues. You throw winter in there, you're doomed, okay? So what we've done for winter is we have this big yellow container, and I keep it in the back of my truck, and that's all the off-season clothes because there's just not enough room. I don't blame this setup for this because there are some advantages that we're going to talk about. And by the way, Tricia and I are going to sit down in a minute and we're going to talk about all the pros. So we're going through some of the disadvantages or some of the drawbacks and some things to consider if you're thinking about an Airstream so that you know what you're getting into. But at the end of the day, the list of advantages we're definitely going to share with you because it's the thing that really drew us to this type of model, and it's the thing that we haven't regretted one bit.
So Mark.
Yes.
Does Airstream live up to its quality, name, reputation, hype?
It's a tricky question.
Ooh, okay.
I think generally speaking, yes.
All right.
There's a higher level of quality because of the rivets and screws. There's fewer staples. Okay. But here's something that I think, aside from Airstream, I think the RV industry in general, is I see a lot of people that are like going to Facebook and they're saying, I just bought this RV and I have an issue with my water heater right out of the gate. And they bag on the manufacturer. And I know manufacturers are pumping out RVs. I'm not mitigating that.
Right.
Okay. But then they go get a different brand and they get the same water heater.
Yes. So some of these components, what you're saying is some of these components are exactly the same no matter what rig you buy.
Yeah, and so you think of the big components. You got your axles, typically 1 or 2 vendors. You've got your air conditioning units and your furnace, and you've got your.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just important to recognize, look at a bigger picture, and be like, all right, I've got some issues. It's an exciting park this weekend.
Yes.
I've got some issues with this component, but I'm going to get this component fixed. And sometimes I just think it's a good place to start. Now, in terms of the quality, there's some things I like about Airstream. Fewer staples. I like that it's real wood veneer, so it can get wet. It can take some level of wear and tear.
Yes. So sometimes because rigs aren't necessarily made to live full-time in, and when you are full-time living, you're washing a lot of dishes, you're doing a lot of stuff in the bathroom, and there's usually one bathroom, and everything's kind of getting worn down. And so you'll see in the corner, like fake wood will just start expanding like a sponge, and like fake wallpaper will start rolling up the wall, and you're like, oh, this is not real wood.
Yes, yes.
But in the Airstream, you can screw things in because there's real wood under the veneer. There's just certain attention to detail that has been far superior than we have experienced
as
in
it
the
relates
past.
to the wear and tear. And yet I'll still say,
But yeah,
I don't think any RV, including Airstream, is really designed for the constant day-to-day wear and tear.
No.
Now, if you're an empty nester, maybe we'll let you know in a few years, okay? And we'll redo this video.
or maybe you're just 100 times better on things than we are. That is totally plausible. Okay?
We're a bit hard on things.
We're very hard on things. And so if you, like, you know, take your shoes off at the door and use the cubby, and then you clean up after yourself all the time.
I think Zach and Cindy, who we bought this from, because we bought it used, I think they did that.
It looked brand new.
It looked great.
Yes.
Good job, Zach and Cindy. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so that's just a straightforward review regarding the quality. The quality is a step up, but I don't think you're ever gonna meet expectations that I think a lot of people meet.
Right.
Okay, now let's talk about some of the advantages, some of the pros, if you will. I'll start.
Okay.
One of the favorite things I liked about the Airstream when we first started getting going is that the overall RV experience is less fatiguing. The overall experience is more enjoyable.
Why?
And what I mean by that is that the setup process, because it doesn't have a slide and it's lowered to the ground, the setup, the teardown is a little bit smoother. When we stop to go get fuel somewhere, there are no slides. So everything in the Airstream is the way it always is. So
Yes.
Trish will pop back there and she'll start making food while I'm getting gas because it's easy.
Yes.
And then because it's low to the ground, because it's under 10 feet, you know, I don't worry as much on the height clearances. The truck pulls it great. And so sometimes I just feel like it's so easy.
Right.
And I like that.
Yes. Okay, well, for me, I like the fact that Airstream's been around since the 30s. I think 31.
Yeah.
That means that since the 30s until this very moment, that many people have been pouring their intellectual knowledge into how to make the rig better. And they say that they don't make change for change's sake. They make change deliberately.
From feedback.
Does something need to change, or is it classic and it can stay the same? I like that hooks are in the right place. I love that it's well thought out.
Yes, and I like it when people come up to us and they're like, oh, what year is that? And they think I'm gonna say 1950 and I say 2017, but they're like, wow, you can't notice. So that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that, in some way, kind of brings the community together.
Totally, people want to talk about each other's rig, and I found that with our Grand Designs too, but especially true for Airstream.
Yeah. Okay, another thing that I love that there's windows out of every single side of the rig. So if the ocean's in the back, no problem, we can see it.
We
If
got a
it's
window for that.
If it's in the front, if it's on the sides. It's just really cool that every site we get is a good site because we don't have to worry about the windows.
Okay, my other favorite thing is that everything seems to have a place. Now, in the minimalist lifestyle, you want to have as few things as possible because otherwise you're just in the management business. You're managing your things. And currently we are managing a lot of things, and so it's kind of spilling out over, but it doesn't have to be like that. If you really streamline what you're bringing on your trip, the Airstream has a spot for it all. And guess what? I can reach it. It's so exciting. I'm 5'2", and I can get to every single cabinet. I can get to the back of it, and it is a beautiful thing. And when there's storage like underneath the chair, I just open it from the front and I can get right to it. I love that. I never forget it. Every time I open it, I'm like, I love you.
So another thing that I'll mention that I like about Airstreams, if you're thinking about one or considering it, is that they are essentially dry camping ready.
Yeah.
Most Airstreams, I think all of them come with a small inverter and a battery bank, and an inverter, of course, converts it from AC to DC so that you can actually, or DC to AC, so that you can run stuff, that your coffee maker works and some things like that.
Depending on how much energy you need, you can go for a night.
You can go for a night, you can go to Harvest Host, you can be at some Bureau of Land Management and stuff like that. So I like that it's kind of ready to go. And then I also like, lastly, that there is storage, exterior storage, all the way around in these little convenient compartments. So let me show you that right now. Okay, this is my go-to cubby right here, and this is where I keep, Trish, you wanna come down in here? I'll just show you. This is where I keep all the extension cords and the hoses. We've got this X-Chock on right here, but I didn't actually put one on the other side because I just put it on the high side today. And then, so look, I got all these hoses and extension cords. I mean, it's a mess, and I was gonna organize it, and I thought, well, why organize it? I'll just show you what it's like. We've got little camping chairs in here. But this is just all the stuff that I didn't pull out. In fact, we even have our lights in here. I love these things. In fact, all this stuff is on our Amazon page, by the way. But these lights right here, totally adorable. And I can plug it into the side and then we just string the lights. These are great. In fact, I'll just leave these out.
They were only 19 bucks.
Yeah, $19, they're great. And then propane sewer. All right, I'm bringing it out. There we go. There we go.
Oh,
like we
wow.
said, you might be more organized than we are, but extension cords. All right, but the other stuff, oh, look at this.
And you have a chair.
Oh, nice. The other stuff that I keep in here, what's that?
That's a lot of stuff.
Yep, well, this is the stuff that's left over.
Yeah.
The actual stuff I keep in there we're actually using. So the water filter on this side, that goes in here. The other X-Shock goes in here. The hose and our 50 amp power cable goes in here. Okay, let me get these bikes pulled back. A lot of people ask me, do I still like the Kuat rack? This is the best rack ever. 12,000 miles on this rack and it feels like day one. Okay, so back here is where we keep our favorite camping chair. Thanks to Bree and Sean, when we were up in Bozeman, they had this chair. What's it stuck on? It's stuck in something.
The struggle's real.
The struggle's real, all right? Love this thing. Look at that. Isn't
Wow.
that awesome? So because of that chair, we got rid of all of our other chairs because that's just the best camping chair. And then we've got our rolling table, fabulous table, $25. It's a Coleman table. We keep that there. And then I did get a rain cover for the bikes, and it's okay. We don't use it as much as we should, but I like having it. And then we have another rolling table that we don't use very often because it's kind of like a coffee table.
When you say rolling, you mean it rolls up into the bag.
You got it. And then we've got one helmet, two helmet, Tricia's cast iron pan, my favorite things ever in case there's an emergency, but more importantly, I use these to make sure people don't park in front of me when we are at like a grocery store, that someone's not gonna just come right in front, so I can put this in front of the truck. We actually have 4 of these. This is something to wash the Airstream with, a little scrubber thing. The scrubber's not on it. This is Tricia's favorite. It's a little umbrella. I feel like this is show and tell now. I wasn't gonna get into all this, but this is kind of fun. This is a little umbrella that Trish puts on her chair.
Okay, everyone I show that to, they literally come up to me the next day and they say, okay, I bought it.
Well, yeah, because
once you use this thing,
yeah,
you're like, how does it know
sun right when
exactly how to block the sun for me?
Anyway, all right. And then it's starting to be like a clown car now. Carson's longboard. I don't know why he didn't take that to school, but somehow I got left with it. We got more of the little camping chairs. So Tricia and I use the big love seat, but then we have these camping chairs because they're quick and easy, and plus a lot of times kids don't really want to sit in a chair, but they need a place to sit. So this is a great way for if you have like grandkids to just like have extra seating without having to bring a chair. Hammock. Have I shown you these yet? You gotta watch out for the plumbing. Bike rack, bike pump, I mean.
Whoa.
Tricia's lid to the thing.
Yes.
Probably put that somewhere else. Another helmet. Should we edit this down a little bit? Have I shown you these? These are Traeger pellets. And this is the bucket for washing the Airstream right here.
I can't even believe how much you have back there.
Anyway, bike tubes and some other stuff. Have we covered it? That's what I keep in there. Let's talk about this right here.
I want to slow pan all this though.
Are you? Hold on. So right here, you want to come closer, Trish? Right here is where I don't mind the busted bumper. We got a new bumper.
I got there to that.
We got a new bumper on its way. We're actually going to put it in 2 weeks. So this is where I keep both of the Anderson blocks and all of the leveling blocks. We have a ton of leveling blocks because they're so handy, not only for the stabilizers, but they're good for all sorts of things. Sometimes we use them to level the picnic table. So I got a whole bunch of leveling blocks. I keep some sewer stuff here, and then I keep the Anderson blocks, and it all goes right in the bumper. Let's go to the other side of the RV. And this is one of the other things I absolutely love about this Airstream, or about Airstreams in general, is how easy that is. Because often you only need sunlight off of your windows. You don't need a big awning. You just have to get the sun out of the window. And the fact that it's so easy to operate is what we love. And as you can tell, because it doesn't come out very far, it's more sturdy. So some people, like in our last episode, they said, hey, you put the awning in after you guys left, but you didn't put this one in. It's because this is a little more sturdy. Still not advisable to leave an RV park with an awning out because of wind. But if we did live this one out, we'd probably be all right. Okay, I'm gonna grab that little triangle chair, and then I wanna just show you this area right here. This is where your Airstream comes with 2 OEM 12-volt batteries. But because we ended up putting 6 Battleborn batteries and an inverter in here, it freed up this space. So now, this little cube here, which is totally, all the stuff I keep in there is waterproof. I've got 4 boards, the stack of leveling blocks that I keep the tongue jack on, and both my wheel chocks, and actually a couple more leveling blocks, and all that goes right here. Completely convenient, and just a great place for it. And then, in here is where we have 6 lithium batteries, Battleborn batteries in the back, and a 3,000 watt inverter. And by the way, Future Solutions, that did the install on the Momentum, these are the guys that did this install. It's just done absolutely first class. Those guys are genius. And that video is coming, by the way. We want to do another solar battery install video. We just want to this time probably take on like how to size and scope a system and how to match the amount of solar that you might need and understand it from that perspective. Because we've done a few of those videos and I want to take a different approach with this one. So that video is coming soon. But the only thing I kept up here previously were my tools. So now that the inverter is taking up a lot of room, we actually just found this little plastic container, and it just perfectly holds the tools that I had in here anyway. So it works out really well. And I have left this open in the middle of the night when it was pouring rain. No problems. The rain hits it and it kind of comes down in here. A little bit of splash comes in, but it wasn't a problem. Anyway, we're gonna go way more details about this. I just wanted to kind of give you a glimpse of what we, of how we did this. All right?
So that's that.
That is that.
We hope that you got to see all the things you wanted to see about an Airstream. Because for me, when I was looking for rigs, they never showed me enough.
I know.
I like, no, leave that cabinet open. I want to see what I could put in there.
Exactly. And that's why we made this video a little bit longer. And if you're new to RVing, or maybe you're even an experienced RVer and you're just looking for as much information as you possibly can, definitely go join us over at e3camping.com.
Yes, we're very excited to grow that platform with new information every single month. You can't even believe the brainstorms that are going on right here. Okay,
Yes.
We're like, oh, what if we did this? What if we did that? So anyway, we are so happy that you are here with us, and leave a comment down below of anything that you do in your RVing for storage, better towing, anything that you've learned along the way, because you teach us every single day, and we want to say thank you for that.
Yes. All right, that is it for this weekend. We will catch you next Sunday, same place, same time, as we continue to make our way. Last weekend was Kennebunkport, and we arrived in Camden. So next Sunday, we go out with Will and Sue. Well, Will takes us out on the boat to explore Camden, and then we make our way up to Acadia, and then we pop down through New Hampshire and Vermont for the fall colors. Still a lot to come this season. We'll catch you next Sunday.
New England is stunning. I'm sorry I cut you off, but New England is stunning, and I just had to say that.
We'll catch you later.
Bye.